Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at a relatively low-level unique. This is known as the Deathspade Axe. The Deathspade Axe is actually a surprisingly good axe for a relatively low-level character and has some very interesting uses aside from just bonking things. Or rather hacking things, since it is an axe. And as we go over it, I think you'll understand what I mean. The Deathspade Axe is 14 to 18 damage, which is kind of amazing for level 9, and it does have a durability of 24, which means you will be back in town repairing it on a regular basis. Low-level strength requirement of only 32, so most characters can put this on with relative ease. We also have a required level of level 9, which means that you can utilize this before you leave Act 1 and before you kill Andariel. So it's actually pretty effective early on in the game. With a fast attack speed as a base and no increased attack speed, it's fast enough to get the job done in the beginning of the game. It does have a 70% enhanced damage, which does vary by 10%, so 60 to 70. That doesn't have much variable on the damage, believe it or not. That 10% really doesn't do much. I believe it goes from like 14 to 17 instead of 14 to 18 if you end up with the lower end. It has plus 8 to minimum damage, which is a gap closer. So it closes the gap between the min and the max, and it makes the damage more succinct, so like, together. So instead of it being a rather large variable, it ends up being a rather small variable, which means that you end up hitting targets for a lot more damage regularly than hitting them for low damage half the time and like high damage sometimes and so forth and so on. So like it ends up being better overall as you're hitting targets because it just means you're going to do more damage more reliably. We also have 15% bonus to attack rating, which actually isn't really that good at a low level because, quite honestly, you just don't really have a lot of attack rating to bonus. Like, you probably got like 10 attack rating when you start, and or maybe like 50. And so like 15% additional on top of 50 doesn't really do as much as you think. It's actually an effect that would be more useful later on when you actually do have a lot of attack rating to beef up. We also have Hit Spline's Target on here, which is absolutely amazing for normal difficulty. Now, this does suffer the penalties of half duration and 33% duration in Nightmare and Hell. But in normal difficulty, at level 9, when you put this on, everything's going to be nice and blind. And they're not going to do much to you. It's actually amazing. And this actually means that it is a pretty nice, very low-level weapon for just about anybody who wants to go around hacking things. On top of that, we also have an effect which separates it from just simply a regular melee weapon that you bonk things with. It has plus 4 to mana after each kill. Now, if you find this on a character that is not necessarily going to hit things, maybe you are a sorceress, maybe you are a necromancer, maybe you are an elemental druid, or there's a lot of different options. But you're not actually going to hit anything. Well, it doesn't matter. Plus 4 to mana after each kill is great for spellcasters. And at a low level, when you're only really utilizing maybe like 2 or 3 mana per cast anyway, and you're killing monsters usually in 1 or 2 hits, plus 4 to mana after each kill can have a huge boon to help prevent using so many mana potions. And even if you want to still chug mana potions, now you can cast even more spells because you will be able to sustain better. So it's actually very, very nice. Even in the ethereal form, which is 18 to 27 damage, by the way, and 22 strength, the plus 4 to mana after each kill is still useful. So if you find an ethereal one at a low level as a sorceress or something else that is a spellcaster, just put it on. Utilize the plus to mana after each kill. Maybe pair it up with like some armor or a helmet that has tier runes in it for more plus to mana after each kill, and before you know it, you won't have any problems with mana whatsoever. Now, this could potentially be upgraded, and I don't really see it upgrading well because the way that it's made, it relies on that plus 8 min that is not going to scale, and it relies on some little bonuses here and there which don't scale well into other difficulties, like the hit blind target and the plus mana after each kill, which does drop off. But let's upgrade it anyway and see when it does. So to upgrade it from the normal difficulty to the exceptional, it's a pretty cheap recipe at a soul, a ral, and a perfect emerald. You're obviously not going to have this at level 9, but you will have it much later on in the game. And it's going to upgrade from the Deathspade Axe, 14 to 18, 32 strength, level 9, To the Deathspade Cleaver, 25 to 56, 68 strength, level 27. And you know what? That's actually not bad. It's not bad. 25 to 56 at level 27 is actually pretty decent. The ethereal version can also be upgraded with the Ral Soul and the Perfect Emerald. From 18 to 27, 22 strength, level 9. To 33 to 83, 58 strength, level 27. You know, this could make a really interesting low-level, like, Blade Fury weapon, just so you have the hits blinds target and the mana after each kill. Those two effects together could actually make a pretty nice bonus. And the attack rating bonus might actually do you well on the Blade Fury Sin, because they don't have as much attack rating as they would like. It could be an interesting choice for a little low-level Blade Fury Sin at the ethereal version. And the non-ethereal version actually does look like a halfway decent weapon for a level 27 character who's just trying to level up. It's not a bad upgrade to the exceptional tier. Now, of course, we can upgrade this again to the elite tier with a Paul, a Lum, and a Perfect Emerald. And I know this one's going to go bad, but let's take a look anyway. Why not? So we're going to go from the 25 to 56 damage, 68 strength, level 27, to 72 to 102, 83 dex, 115 strength, level 57. 57 is actually not as high as I thought it was going to be. And I do feel like 72 to 102 might be a little low for 57, but you know, it's actually not bad. But for a Paul and a Lum rune, I can't really see doing that. It does seem a little expensive. The ethereal version can also be upgraded from 33 to 83, 58 strength, level 27, to 104 to 153, 73 dex, 105 strength, and level 57. So, you know, not a bad upgrade from tier 1 to tier 2. Not really a good upgrade from tier 2 to tier 3. Although it could work. I just feel like that Paul and that Lum rune are just a little bit too expensive for a weapon that you're probably not going to get very much use out of. Especially not even for that long. Because 57 is not even that far away from 60, and 60 is... there are a lot of good weapon choices at 60 that you'll find that are going to be way better than a Deathspade Small Crescent. Yeah. Let's go over to Silo's Pen real quick, and let's see where we could potentially find this if we wanted to get our hands on it. So being a low-level unique, I do think this is probably going to drop in a lot of lower-level zones. Let's do about 50% Magic Find since it is level 9. And sorting by probability, we do have Andariel at the top of the list at 1 in 100. So pretty high chance that Andariel will drop it. And after that, not a lot of really good options until Mephisto at 1 in 382. And it just kind of gets worse from there, doesn't it? So normal Andariel does look like the boss to fight for this. Super Uniques. Bink, bink. Normal Cow King's not bad at 1 in 698. Bone Ash has a pretty good chance at 1 in 776. He's actually surprisingly easy to farm for a low-level character. And you could definitely farm him a couple times. The Smith has a decent chance at 1 in 1,568. And I'm trying to see if there's any other Act 1 monsters that can drop this, because that's really where you want to use it and utilize it, because that's where it's the best. Not that Act 2 is terrible or anything, but I do feel like Act 1 is your money. So it does look like Andariel and Bone Ash are your two best choices for trying to get your hands on one early. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when it is blinding, like the Deathspade axe. And as always, keep watching.